Let's get physical. It's Jordan here, back again with this week's update. All the physical releases coming to the Nintendo Switch, the 25th until the 29th. Let's see what we've got. But yeah, we are starting to get to the arse end of the year. It's also around Black Friday, where most publishers dare not to have a brand new release. But thankfully, Japan does not care about that, because Japan has 25 games alone this week. But before I get ahead of myself, let me just do one more quick shout out to the Game of the Year vote. You have until Tuesday, at which point the voting will close. As I am writing this, I think there's already a clear winner, but in the pack down below, because I'm going to be doing a top 15, some of those games down there can change with, just a few votes, so the link is below. Go and vote for your games of the year. Anyways, this week's games: Neon Blood is probably releasing in Europe this week. North America will have to wait for their edition next year, and that does not come with a limited edition like the European one. This has a metallic slip cover, art book, downloadable soundtrack, and city guide. And this game looks pretty awesome. It reminds me of the Anno Mutationum in the visual style, mixing 3D and 2D. Detective cyberpunk game, hell yes. Maybe there's a bit of action in here as well. I'm keeping my fingers crossed it runs well on the Switch, but it's also getting a physical release on PlayStation 5 too. And my executive producers, Alexander Cato, Jennifer M, Kevin W, God of Resin, Wixit, Sora Cat, and the Nemo 6 have chosen this as their pick of the week. And if you want the early European version, or to pre-order the North American release, or you want any retail release in this video, consider using the links down below in the description and the pinned comment. That massively helps support me and this series. VGP are a really nice company with favorable prices in cheap Canadian buckages, plus they have free worldwide shipping on orders over 8 Canadian bucks, which is about 60 American dollars. Plus, if you buy something with my link, each week you'll be put into a draw to have a chance of winning a $10 discount coupon. And this week's winner is Justin G. Congratulations, Justin. You should get an email from VGP if you haven't already with your discount coupon. Thank you so much for your support, and anyone else out there. Virgo versus the Zodiac is maybe releasing in Europe this week physically. It's a strange looking adventure RPG, almost rocking the noodle pixel legs. Not quite enough to make me irrationally hate it, so that's nice. It's got comparisons to the Mario and Luigi games in terms of the combat, as you time your attacks for bigger boosts, and it's a game with very positive reception. In fact, it's actually a pretty old game, all things considered. It's been out on Steam since 2019. It's also releasing physically on PlayStation 5 in a standard and collector's edition, which is gorgeous. You get a digital soundtrack, stickers, cloth map, shiny character cards, and a golden pin. As I said, it's only releasing in Europe, and there is no sign of a North American physical, but VGP will be carrying copies of the European version if you want it. And my executive producers, Louis K and Ghost Bjorn, have chosen this as their pick of the week. Super Woden, I don't know, GP Podium Edition is again maybe releasing this week. This is a double pack actually. It contains both Super Woden, GP 1 and 2, despite being published by Funbox and GS2 Games in Europe and North America respectively. I think these look like pretty cool games. Reviews are fairly positive about them, and there's something PS1-y about the visuals, of which I am like a moth to a flame and I will burn in fuzzy 3D goodness. It's also releasing on PlayStation 5. And my executive producers, Brent McLean, Ishin, and JCrod7776 have chosen this as their pick of the week. TERRACOTTA is maybe releasing in Europe this week. When I'm relying on Touhou Games for a solid release date, things aren't going well in the week. But yes, this is another European exclusive release. It's a pretty nice looking action adventure game. I'm not sold on the art style, but the gameplay seems solid enough. I suppose I should like it for the lore alone, as you are a terracotta warrior designed to protect the first emperor, Qin Shi Huang, in his final resting place. It's got action, it's got puzzles, and a nice different setting. It's also coming in a collector's edition. Is it releasing this week though? I don't know. And my executive producer Dave Hustwaite has chosen this as his pick of the week. Goat Simulator 3 is releasing this week in North America, and I think that's par for the course for the series, a series that doesn't give a monkeys about being a brand new retail game right in the heat of the volcano that is Black Friday. I played a fair bit of this with my daughter on Game Pass and she loves it. Kinda wish it didn't have so much swearing in the game, or at least, give me an option to turn that off, because kids absolutely love the nonsense that this game has, and I even found it hilarious. Obviously, on the Switch, I can't imagine blowing up a petrol station will react well with the frame rate, but hey ho, on the go, chaos is welcome. And I want to randomly point out that this isn't the first Goat Sim physical on the Switch. Goat Sim 1 got a quiet physical release in Europe like last year or something like that. A quick mention to Wildermyth, which should be releasing in Europe this week. A great game that I hated almost immediately. Take that how you will with my personal taste. It also a dodgy port on the Switch when I played it. I don't know if there's been any patches or not since, when it released digitally. And that's it at retail. Not too much because of, Black Friday, too many deals going on to be noticed. Speaking of which, I made a bunch of videos about physical discounts. Maybe too many discounts videos? I don't know. If you're looking for some sweet deals, then check out all of those. Of course, a good few of them are sold out now, but one, I know they are trying to restock a lot of them, and two, there are still plenty left in stock. Personally, the Final Fantasy 1-6 pixel remaster for $50 that's like unmissable. Go buy that, okay? Anyways, let's move into the low print releases. We only have one. Turbo Kid, I believe, is the only low print release this week. Hope it doesn't get lost in the Black Friday deals. Pre-orders for this literally just opened over on Premium Edition Games' website. As you know, I work with them. I helped them sign Alyssa, which is still up for pre-order by the way, and is close to being their best-selling game ever, don't miss it. But Premium are also very excited about this one, as you can see with the 3 editions available. You have the standard, which comes with the usual slipcase, full color manual, challenge card, and pre-order dog tag, but they also have the retro edition, which comes with the same stuff in a nicer box, a soundtrack CD, as well as a secret bonus item. But for this release, they also have a deluxe edition, a big old meaty thing that you can also probably use as a self-defense weapon. This comes with a steelbook and a premium strategy guide in a nice shock box. If you live in the US of A, you can order from Premium Edition Games' website with the links below. If you live outside of the USA, you can order from VGP. The game itself is a Metroidvania that looks really awesome. Very underrated release, as you'll see with any review that talks about it. Colorful, fun action, good stuff. And my executive producers, Josh Foote, Fawn Metal Luna, Super Ben Julio, and Instacritic have chosen this as their pick of the week. Alright, let's jump into the import releases now. Japan, I don't know what they've been smoking, but I would like some please, because they are going absolutely bananas this week. It's like one last explosion of games before the end of the year. They have 25 games this week. Not all of them worth importing obviously, but there are so many, I've had to divide these imports into their own little sections. Firstly, the ones that you may consider importing, and if you do, please check the Play Asia links down below for these, because if you click those links you can pre-order and you can support me at the same time, and I can support you too with the discount code Jordan24, which will nail you 5% off, so definitely use the link and definitely use the code. Suika Game actually released last week. I didn't forget to mention it last week because I thought it was this week, so I didn't forget, I just got it wrong. It's different, okay? Maybe Play Asia got their dates wrong and switched the date at the last minute without me realizing. Either way, you puzzle addicts definitely need this in your collection. It is one of the cheapest imports of all time. In fact, it might be the cheapest import ever. Maybe the hamster game is also cheap, I can't remember. I know the game itself is cheap if you download it, but this comes with exclusive bonus stuff like skins, something like that. It was a viral hit, probably one for the lungs, since there's been something going around my daughter's school this week, and whatever viral thing it is, it might be because of the Suika Game, I don't know. This has English, not the virus, the game. And you are missing out if you don't have this giant smiley watermelon in your Switch collection. Maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm overselling it. And my executive producers, Dave Hallworth and G Bautista 100, have chosen this as their pick of the week. Irem Collection Volume 2 is releasing in Japan this week. It has English alongside many other European languages. Remember, Strictly Limited Games have taken pre-orders for this in Europe, but so far they have produced diddly squat. I think he's P. Diddy's co-defendant. They've yet to even produce Volume 1, never mind Volume 2, so if you don't want to wait around, then you can grab this perfectly fine Japanese edition. I made a video about this package, and while it's hard to recommend it for the price and the low amount of games, it also contains perhaps the best arcade game I've ever played in my life. Gun Force 2 is just amazing. It's coming in a standard edition, as well as a collector's edition on Nintendo Switch and PlayStation 5. And my executive producers, Robotech and Vei, my man in Japan, they've chosen this as their pick of the week. The Exit 8 Platform 8 is releasing physically this week on Switch, PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. It has English. This is a cheap import exclusive because both games that it includes are hardly 80-hour JRPGs. They're basically a couple of hours long that they're just Twitch streamer bait. Psychological horror games that are well received. There's no doubt about it. You can have fun, but for how long? I suppose there are worse ways to spend $24 for like 4 hours worth of content. Can you go to the cinema for that price by yourself? I don't know. PICO Park 1 and 2 is another super cheap import exclusive released with English. This looks like a really fun party puzzle action game where cooperation is key. These even got a spotlight in a direct one time. It's worth pointing out that these are multiplayer only. One person cannot play it alone unless you have some really dexterous toes, at which point you'd probably better off be on OnlyFans for the true freaks to throw money at you. Touhou Genso Wanderer FORESIGHT is the third game in the Wanderer series, and it's the second one to be an import exclusive with English. The West did get reloaded physically, but Lotus Labyrinth and now FORESIGHT are Japanese only releases, but they do have English, so you can import them if you want some mystery dungeon style gameplay with a low budget and crazy gameplay. I have to admit, these games always appeal to me, even with the slightly unappealing art style this sub-series offers, but I'll be picking this one up if I get the chance for a decent price in my budget. It's coming in a standard and limited edition, which includes a special box, original soundtrack, art book, acrylic stand, and DLC costume. And my executive producer, Cartoon Soren, has chosen this as his pick of the week. Steam Prison Beyond the Steam is releasing physically this week in Japan. It's an Otome VN, a sequel to another import exclusive. Like the original Steam Prison, this also has English and continues from where the first game left off, I assume. Well, the description says it has two stories, one after story and an additional story called A New Theory. Sounds like it could be a what-if scenario, but I'm not sure and I'm not interested enough to find out. A quick mention to Grime, which is releasing in Japan this week after releasing in Asia a couple of weeks or months back, and way after Super Rare Games did it in Europe. It's an option, I suppose. Bang Bang Bandits does not have English. However, I think this may be a case of it not being needed. I'm not 100% sure on this, but I'll wait for like a full gameplay video on YouTube to see how necessary it may be. Looks like a cute kiddie shooting gallery game, I don't know. Now, I need to round up the other Japanese and Asian releases into different categories. This category is what I like to call Japanese and Asian exclusives for a short amount of time, since the West will be getting all of these in some form physically in the near future. I haven't seen a European TMNT Ultimate release date. Has anyone seen that? Limited Run took orders for it in North America. Macross, we know Red Art Games have taken pre-orders for it in North America and Europe. It's already out in Japan. This Asian version also does not have English. You'll have to wait for the Western one. Ricky 8-Bit Game Collection will be getting a European physical release for sure. That was recently announced and I am utterly shocked. It seemed very niche and very Japanese as hell, but it's happening. Who knows when, so maybe you'll want to import this Japanese version, which does have English. Taito Milestones 3 physical release is next week in the West. Snow Bros Wonderland's European physical is in a couple of weeks, and Limited Run took orders for North America, and we all know about Wizardry by now. Alright, Roundup 2 is what I like to call Japanese late release, i.e. games the West already has physically and Japan is trying to catch up. I don't imagine any of these are very different to their Western counterpart in terms of builds on the cartridge, but who knows, they all have English. And finally, the final roundup is what I like to call So Japanese, You Better Speak Japanese. Self-explanatory, these are Japanese-only releases with no language options other than Japanese, and probably not worth importing for 99% of you monolingual Neanderthals, and I'm including myself in that, okay? Alright, that is a lot of games. That is a lot of games. But more games, yes, in the community spotlight. Are you ready? Adamantium sent in this photo of him getting down with the thickness, the triple helping of Atelier Ryza, which Video Games Plus did reprints of the first 2 games, and you could buy all 3 for a nice discounted price. I think you can still do that if you want 3 fantastic JRPGs. AJ sent in this photo with the import exclusive on the left, Hokkaido something something. It's a long ass title, alright, but I do want to give it a go. Looks like a nice old school adventure game. Andrew R sent in this photo picking up Wisman's World or whatever it's called, which I was really interested in. Sadly, the Switch version, the Japanese physical release, does not have English, at least as far as I researched. I reached out to the publisher in Japan and they said they were saving English for a potential Western physical, pricks. Ashura G sent in this photo picking up SMT5 Vengeance, which will more than likely make an appearance in the Game of the Year video. Not as high as the original release. Berry Gaming 24/7 picked up 2 copies of Madison. I guess they were going cheap at VGP, like, was it $22? Which is not a bad price for what I've heard is one of the best horror games on the Switch. Bridget F sent in this photo with 2 gaming pickups, Duck Detective, one I already forgot Super Rare Games did, and the collector's edition of Needy Streamer Overload. Executive producer Cartoon Soren sent in this photo with Trouble Witches Final, Episode 1, Daughters of Amalgam, an import-exclusive shooter that was once really rare, but after a while did get another print and is still readily available at PlayAsia. Choco Loco James sent in this photo, showing some love to Astro Bot, which I've heard is absolutely fantastic. Executive producer Dave Hallworth sent in this photo, getting the nice deal at Video Games Plus to get both of these cartridges, 5 games, together for $57 shipped for free. That is a great deal. Devil Angel sent in this photo, which includes Vernal Edge, which is one of the many great Black Friday deals. Only like $20 or something from what I remember. Executive producer G. Bautista sent in this photo. Looks like they picked up the triple thickness alongside Atelier Sophie 2, which I know a lot of people love. Some people think that it's the best one in the series. Not my personal favorite, but I see where they're coming from. Illogicool sent in this photo, picking up some releases from PlayAsia. I think a few of these were heavily discounted, like Deadcraft and Assault Lanus 2. Sadly, that one doesn't have English, but I don't think it's necessary. Executive producer Instacritic sent in this photo, picking up this bunch of games including Canon, which the English patch is due for next week, I believe. Executive producer Kevin W sent in this photo with Dragon Quest III, which sold like 1 million copies in Japan in less than a week. I think it might be popular over there. Cressalac sent in this photo, picking up Spell Carnival, which was released last week. I probably unfairly ripped it, apart in last week's video, but no one seemed to complain. That's weird. Usually people complain when I have an opinion. Executive producer Lewis K sent in this photo, picking up Marvel vs. Capcom Collection, which apparently comes with a tiny little comic book inside, which is cool. And also nice to see Beyond Good and Evil out and about. McLaren picked up the Japanese collector's edition of the game I can't remember the full title for, UFO Grendize or something like that. A budget but satisfying release for fans of the IP, so I've heard. Needless Dragon picked up 2 fantastic imports, Monster Hunter Stories, the solo release without the baggage of the sequel as a download code, and Wargroove 1 and 2. Very nice if you don't have the first game physically. Executive producer JCross7776 sent in this photo picking up Star Wars Dark Forces, which is an excellent first-person shooter. Even to this day, it's aged like fine wine, great level design. VGP still have copies available if you missed it at limited run. No Face sent in this photo with the Japanese Super Deluxe edition of Wizardry. They do some really nice packages, probably even better than limited run themselves. Pabs sent in this photo showing off that Strictly Limited Games do actually print games, because after a very long time, Darius Burst, Taito/Sega pack was recently sent out. They used some of the Iron Meat money. I knew it'd be useful. Peter C sent in 2 VNs, one of which is one of the highest rated Otomis of all time. And since Memories, I've heard it's a little disappointing if you're a fan of the mainline games, but I don't know for sure. Reg sent in this photo. Shiny, shiny. Always happy to see these Tomb Raider sets, and I really cannot wait for the second collection. Our Luna sent in this photo picking up some games, I am assuming from VGP, since these all have been going cheap recently. The Final Fantasy 7 and 8 double pack, my brain cannot comprehend how anyone could think about not having this in their collection. I might be a bit biased. Skip to the End, don't skip to the end, that's their name, sent in the Mega Drive Classics collection. I've been in a very Sega mood recently. I've been playing my Dreamcast on my recently bought CRT TV, and I've been thinking about buying a Sega Saturn with Fenrir. And I also subscribed to Sega Lord X. I mean, I watched him anyways, but I went to the effort of subscribing. I rarely do that. Speaking of which, like, if you watch this series regularly and you haven't subscribed, help a dude out and just do it, okay? Stefan N showed off the Suika Game physical that did, in fact, release last week. How can you say no to a winking melon? That sounds like an insult, you absolute winking melon. Executive producer Super Ben Julio sent in this photo with a few limited run releases. You know, I always have a dig at them, but even I think, you know, I would love Beyond Good and Evil, Tomba, and so on. I just wish they were at retail and could be bought in a Black Friday deal or something. You know, that's my dream. Executive producer Brent McLean sent in this photo picking up the Pixel Popes collection. I have no idea if these visual novels are good or not, but damn, they nailed the presentation, not only in the games themselves, but also the physical release. It looks fantastic. Executive producer Vei, my man in Japan, sent in this photo picking up all the recent import exclusives like the VN, the second from the left, it's Some, something like that, Sushi Shot, and Amedama, which I made a video about, and it's awesome. And that is everyone. Yes, I said everybody, I think, unless I missed somebody by accident, but I think this is everyone. Please send me your pictures over on Twitter at SoWhatAboutGame. DM me if you can. If you can't, you can send it to the email address switchwatchspotlight@gmail.com, and of course the Discord, the server link should be below in the description. Only send me 1 picture per week and try to make it Switch related, okay? Special thanks as always to my executive producers: Dane Wilkinson, God of Resin, Brent McLean, Alexander Cato, JCross7776, Punky Dooster, Cartoon Soren, Robotech, Raven Knight, Fawn Metal Luna, Issa, Vei, Offphone, Instacritic, Precision Plague, Alex M, Feig, Josh Foot, Ishin, Lewis K, Kevin W, Jennifer M, Super Ben Julio, Double Dave, Hustwaite and Horworth, Wixit, Sora Cat, The Nemo 6, and my brand new executives, Ghost Bune and G Bautista 100. Thank you so much for your support. If you want to join them, check the Patreon link below. It's the Let's Get Physical producer role. It's the last one. It's the end one, okay? Scroll all the way to the right, okay? If you don't want to, just thank you for watching anyway. If you watched all the way through, you are a legend as well, you know, because you helped this series a lot, and I want to know who you are, so please leave me a special emoji. What is that emoji? Of course, it is a watermelon. How could it not be a watermelon, okay? And yeah, please go watch some of my other stuff. I've got a lot of stuff out there, yeah, a lot of discounts video. Got a massive JRPG video that I eventually got out. It was delayed like a few weeks compared to when I wanted it out, but it's out eventually, okay? Please go watch it. It's a big old chunky video, and I could do with a few watches. Keep it going, yeah? Get the algorithm going. Hope you all have a fantastic weekend. No, it's not the weekend, it's the week. Have a fantastic week. Take care. Bye.